What a win. The Dockers have gotten over Hawthorn by 13 points. I'm a little bit rattled. I cannot believe we've won that. The Dockers, an incredibly accurate 12-5-77 to Hawthorn. 9-10-64. We fire into the top 8 via a loss from the Bulldogs today. I cannot believe we've actually just gone and defeated Hawthorn in the circumstances we found ourselves in. We were completely on the back foot at three-quarter time. I had zero confidence, I'll be honest. I was sitting with a couple of my mates, and they had even lower confidence than me. I honestly, I saw us winning, but I saw about a 10% chance. But the fact, that's now 2 home games in a row where we've just overcome a deficit at three-quarter time. And I mean, the Saints game obviously wasn't our strongest, but that was a performance full of guts. I honestly thought the performance as a whole, it was fight. I really didn't think it was pretty. I thought we got so many structural things wrong. And I think for three quarters around the contest, we got outcoached yet again. But to dig in and beat a team as good as Hawthorn, who, if they won, would be sitting firmly in the top 4, I think it's an incredibly, how do I put it? Mature win, a win to be proud of. Sonny did his lap at halftime. It was an emotional night for the club, and to go out and celebrate that with a win, it was so good. So we'll get into the fan cams. If you want to join, click the link in the description, the first link. We're going to kick it off here with Zach. Hello, mate.
Hey, mate. Long time. No speak. Hope you're well.
Long time no see. I'm very good. What did we see?
Well, gee whiz. That was, well, the way we won that game, mate, I didn't see it coming, to be honest. Now, I wonder what's in that beverage. I won't ask you, is it? Okay, fair enough. Anyways, back to the football. Well, you've frozen on me here. Have you still got? Can you still hear me?
Can you hear me?
Oh, you froze for me. Anyways,
there's a delay. Hold on. Let's
football as a mutual supporter. As I said to you during the. Hello.
There is such a delay here. I've just checked.
All
right, Zach. I'm not sure if it's my internet or his, but one of us needs to sort our shit out. All right, I'll wait for Zach to sort his. I think he's back in the waiting room. There's a bloke pointing at himself. He's not coming in. Hello.
Hello.
Are we back? Well,
Hello?
I'm not sure if it's me or him. I've got you. No, he just left. I had him. It's an absolute shambles to start. He runs in 10. I tell you what, shout out to the faithful. 50 people in here. 11:23 WA time. Pushing 2 a.m. Vic time. Shout out to the faithful. We'll give Zach one more go. If not, we've got a big waiting room here. We'll be on here for a while, I reckon. I'm samming my Switkowski. So am I. He runs in 10 FP. Yeah, Zach's in all sorts. I'm bloody exhausted after that emotional roller coaster. Great gutsy win. Yeah, that was unbelievable. Such a victory. Hard yakka. Mate, bring out. This personifies that victory. Hard yakka. Beat out by 13 at three-quarter time and won by that margin's unbelievable. Yeah, unreal. Hello, mate.
Mate, I've tried on my phone this time. Is it better?
Yeah, you're fine now.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, what I was trying to say was I did say it would be a good game to watch for a mutual, and for a Dockers fan, for three quarters, that was as painful as it got. It was like watching a similar thing happen all over again, but wowee, the ticker in the last quarter, mate, that is just... I don't remember us showing that much ticker for a very, very long time.
No, I actually... To be honest, I missed a fair chunk of that fourth quarter. But from what I saw, the amount of people that just put their body on the line is just... Yeah. I think that's what, you can talk about structural things, you can talk about coaching, you can talk about the skills of players, but when you've got that many blokes that are willing to put their body on the line for the better of this club in such a absolute must-win game in a situation where we really shouldn't have won from. Like,
No.
that's why these blokes love the club, and you can just tell.
Well, it's just we had a much bigger will to win, mate. Like that's how it looks. I'm not doubting. I'm not saying Hawthorn didn't give a shit, but the way it looks, mate, we just wanted the game 100 times more than they did. And I think that last quarter was the least amount of points they've scored in the quarter all season. So just on all fronts, not only obviously we kicked a winning score, but just the whole team effort. It wasn't just the mids or who lifted. It wasn't just the forwards. It was the entire team went nut, not having this. And yeah, like that was unbelievable, mate. Like I can be a bit negative at times. There was negatives in that game, but right now in the forefront of my mind is just that was just I think tick is the right word for it, but gee whiz, there was a few individual efforts even just out of the world, mate, out of this world.
Yeah, I mean there were 49K to witness it. Who it was expected to be heavy rain, and they braved the threats. So shout out to the faithful. I don't even know where to go. Like I feel like it's a bit of a disservice to start talking about players as individuals because I thought some people had some poor games leading up to 3/4 time, but when every single one of them shows that much ticker in the fourth quarter and shows that much heart for the club, I'm not doubting that they do that week in, week out, but it was on such a glaring display tonight.
Well, I'm happy to say they don't. I'm happy to put it out there. I don't think they show that much effort every week, but this week there is absolutely no doubting that. And what was I going to say? Also, just one other thing on the effort. I don't want to go too statistically nerdy here, but that is the most tackles by any team this year. The Dockers laid tonight, so that is the definition of effort. Yeah, most by any team this year.
How many?
How many? If you had to guess off the top of your head, how many do you reckon?
I don't even know how many tackles a team usually gets in the game. If I'd go 70.
Well, Hawthorn had 78. We had 103.
Oh, okay. That would be the first team that's cracked triple figures, surely.
Yeah, but we still lost the tackles inside 50, mate. We still lost that statistic, but it was a whole team effort, and that is the most tackles by any team this year. So that is a ridiculously good effort. I don't know. I don't have the quarter-by-quarter tackle breakdown, but in the last quarter, mate, I didn't really think Hawthorn even looked that dangerous at all, to be honest. It was just, mate, that's probably the most enjoyable quarter of football I've watched for a very long time.
It was unreal, mate. Words.
There's the dock side view. You reckon our average is 61 tackles. I'll take him for his words. That's a plus 42 in our average tackles.
How have we done that?
Absolutely
all right,
absurd.
let's go on to the glaring thing from this game, and I think every Fremantle fan saw that.
Oh, God, mate. Yeah, it went from we went from us being gyps to I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We get a good ride in the last quarter. I think it was 10-1 free kick.
10-0.
But I feel like doing it away, it's just a bit. It was evening the game out because
it evened it massively. Those first 3 quarters were the biggest case of free kick Hawthorn I've ever seen.
Mate, it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe some of the calls, but in the last quarter, I was like, some of the free kicks, I felt a bit reluctant to pretend like I was happy we got them because some of those free kicks other way around, mate, I probably would have thrown my phone on the turf. But
there are a few dodgy ones. Yeah.
What goes around comes around, mate. What goes around comes around. So yeah, but as a whole, if you were mutual watching that game, you'd think the umpire's horrible. And I'm sure Dockers and Hawthorn fans both think the same. But as a Dockers fan, I can't complain too much after the last quarter. But yeah, putrid umpiring.
Yeah, to be honest, I watch any game of football nowadays, and I think how bad's the umpiring. So it just elevates the anger when it's a Fremantle game. Yeah. All right, let's get on to a few individuals, which they're hard to talk about because, as I mentioned, there's not a single player that did not put their body on the line for the club tonight. But who really stood out for you?
Last quarter, actually, as a whole, I think Jordan Clark without a tag, obviously as most players would, they go better without a tag. Jordan Clark I thought was very good tonight. I thought Brennan Cox, I did snipe him during the week. I thought he played much better tonight. It might not look like statistically he did, but I feel like he was not beaten anywhere near as easily. Crunched the wizard of a few tackles, which I did quite enjoy. Copped that wizard. Luke Ryan, also the same. Thought he was very good down back. I think our back line as a whole, I thought Oscar McDonald.
Right. I've got a devil's advocate. I reckon for 3 quarters, the player that angered me the most was Luke Ryan. I was absolutely livid with him on multiple occasions. I thought his disposal out of the back line stuffed us many times. Like him and Chapman and like some of our kickers out of the back line, like they gave Hawthorn so many opportunities and they just kept us in it with their kicking. Because the disposal, it was so safe. and it just did absolutely nothing for us going forward. So I think
Mate.
Luke was decent defensively, but geez.
I don't know if you saw it in the last quarter when Matt Johnson had the ball in the centre square with about 5 minutes to go, and he tried to switch it to, I think, McDonald on the interchange wing. Did you see that?
Nah, I didn't. Nah.
I'm putting it up there. It'd be hard to top the worst kick of the year. I was sitting with my old man, and he marked it. I was like, mate, you're not that guy. Just boot it long, please. And you can see him darting around looking, oh, is anyone open? And I think he kicked it. I think it was Charles. Spoiled it, and we were very lucky to get a ball up out of it. It should have been a Hawthorn goal, but yeah, some of the kicking in the back half, especially, not just Matt Johnson. I shouldn't single him out, but I agree. There was some terrible turnovers. Chapman had a stinker. I think Warner booted out at the full, maybe twice.
Yeah,
but besides from the disposal, I thought our defense held up well.
They conceded 64, so you can't really criticise them too much. At the time, I was criticising Luke Ryan's disposal a lot, but conceded 64. He had a really big role on Jack Gunston, who only kicked one goal. I think as a whole, Lukey had a good game, you've got to say.
No, I definitely agree. I think defensively, all our defenders, it's hard to knock any of Banfield. There's a few gutless efforts there. I wasn't surprised he was subbed out, and I don't know why Brandon Walker wasn't playing instead of him. But again, I don't want to be too negative. But I thought our defenders played very well. Yeah, it has to be. But Peel didn't have a bye this week, so they couldn't have picked him. If they picked him because he wasn't ready, then it doesn't really make sense to pick him next week. If it was just because of form, then you sub off Banfield, then you probably say hello, Brandon Walker. But yeah, I hope that's the case. But what was I going to say? I forgot what What was I going to say?
Oh man,
I thought Sarong and Brace in the last quarter. I just double checked. They had 4 tackles each. They were just huge around the contest in the last quarter. The whole team lifted, but around the ball especially. Very, very, very good.
I am baffled. Why are teams not just tagging Caleb Sarong? It's the most obvious thing to do when you play Fremantle. I rate Sam Mitchell as a coach, but is he watching any tape of our previous games? You tag Caleb Sarong, you get a hold of Fremantle's midfield. I cannot believe they did nothing to him.
Yeah, especially when they've got someone like Finn McGuinness. It's not like you're asking someone who isn't used to tagging to tag. I don't know, mate. Was it cocky? Do you think they could just beat us by going?
It was cocky.
I'm just trying to do some maths here. So Hawthorn's average points. This could be butchered maths. I think the average points is in the low 90s. So yeah, as you said, holding them to 65 points. Very good effort. Very, very good effort. But who do you think was the best Dockers player this week, mate?
I thought it was probably a tie between Andy Brayshaw and Sam Switkowski. I thought they were both.
That's a bit of a cowardly answer. Mate, I asked for one, not two. Come on, then.
Sorry, mate. I'll go Switter because I'd give it to Andy more often. But Switter, I thought his efforts today. What the best bit about Switter's game was, I reckon he would have been in the best on ground conversations without the 3 goals. And to get the 3 goals on top, I thought his front half pressure was electric, and his finishing for our goals is just improving every time he plays. He's sort of been criticised, rightfully so, in previous years for not really being the biggest scoreboard or having the most scoreboard impact and some of our scores when we've needed it. But he's really built that into his game this year. I think Switter's having a great year.
16 touches, 8 score involvements, 3 goals. Damaging.
It didn't look like he was coming off a hammy injury. He looked sharp.
No, it didn't. No, but the problem is, could you just imagine if Switter had a normal person's body, as in didn't break down every month? I reckon he would be in the conversation for one of the best small forwards in the AFL.
Or I just never think a pressure forward from WA would get that credit.
Yeah,
no one's speaking about Alex Neil-Bullen at Adelaide. I rate Alex Neil-Bullen so highly, but
he's a
nobody's
Switter, mate. Team Switter.
Team Switter, exactly. He's won a flag,
but
Switter will win one this year.
But I thought, who else? I thought Bolton was pretty good. He also looked very damaging at the ball in hands. I'm just trying to check his stats now. Yeah, he also had 7 score involvements, 2 goals from 19 touches. So basically, every second time either Bolton or Switter touched the ball, it turned into a score. So that's what you sort of need from the Dockers. Our midfield isn't the most damaging, as I've noted, but when your high half forwards like Bolton and Switter are touching the ball and being damaging, it makes us a lot better team.
Exactly right. Now there's a chance I get you back on for the pod this week if possible. So I reckon we'll end.
You contact my manager, mate. He'll let me know.
Yeah, is that your father? Your technical advisor? Yeah.
He's a tech support, not the manager, mate. Yeah, that's all right, mate. You speak to
All
other
right.
people.
Well,
if you want to do that,
I
I'll speak to
will,
you
and
later.
I'll hear more of your thoughts in a couple of days. Thanks for joining, mate.
All right,
Up the
mate.
Dockers.
No worries, mate. Take care.
Cheers. It's a big waiting room, so we'll get stuck in a second. Does anybody miss Druzy right now? Certainly not me. It's much more peaceful without him. No, we miss Druzy. He's in Budapest. He's a little bit hungover, but he got to see the boys get the dub, so that's all that matters. I saw a few up here. We turned it over way too much. Yeah, first 3 quarters. We can go in on those first 3 quarters. I really need to watch back that fourth because I was in the change rooms after the game, so I had to leave a bit, like about 10 minutes early from my seat, and then I watched the last 5 minutes from an obstructed view. Like I missed the goal that gave us the 12, 13 point lead. So yeah, I missed a fair bit of the fourth quarter, so I'd probably have to be filled in. Free kick Hawks was in full swing in that first half. It sure was. All right, next up, Diggy, we'll get you in. G'day, mate.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
Good, bro. I seen
I
you
can
in the
hear.
rooms with the club. How was it down there? Was it a good feeling?
Oh, it was great. The vibes were very, very high. I got told that we wouldn't be going in if we lost, and we were down by 13 at 3/4 time. And I reckon it just would have been a bit dour down there. Absolute must win. But no, the boys came through 28-2 last quarter, and they were pretty up and about.
Yeah, no. It was funny, man. I was sitting here with a mate, and I was like, I pointed through. I was like, "Look who it is, man."
I've lost
that's him, eh? I was like, dude, he pops up everywhere, this kid.
Mate, pop up High Street now in the Freo rooms, mate, everywhere. What do you think of the game as a whole? What'd you see?
But can you hear me, bro?
Oh, geez, we
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
what?
fixed up center clearance. Man, I really glad the boys fixed up.
I don't reckon we've got him here. We've lost him. Diggy, if you can just leave the waiting room and rejoin, I'll get you back in. I can just barely hear you. I'm not sure if it's my end because I could hear Zach fine just before, but yeah, we'll need to sort that out. I'll wait for Diggy to come back. We've still got a few in the waiting room. Has he played a waffle game yet, or is he just straight back in? Who's this, Moose or Youngie? Because Youngie hasn't and Moose hasn't, but Moose will come straight back in. Youngie won't. I think he'll play waffle. I think. Young's return next week will be interesting. Comes to selection on Friday. Yeah, it will be. I'm not sure if we'll play waffle or whatnot. I'm not sure if Diggy's going to join back here. Guest internet connections as functionable as the Hawks in the last quarter. About as functionable as your spelling as well, mate. That was it's a hard sentence to read. All right. I don't think Diggy's coming back. If he does, I'll get him back in later. But we'll get Blasphemous in. G'day, mate.
Hey, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
To be honest, I've had a very, very eventful evening, so I only just caught the last quarter. Don't know if I can. I'll try and be as PG as I can. Literally on the way to the footy, I got assaulted by a random on the street as I was catching the bus. So, not joking. Police statements, everything. Meth head, he just ran down randomly through Canning Highway as I was catching the bus. He stomped on a couple of cars and stole someone's purse. And there's video footage of me literally walking through one of the side streets to catch the bus to the footy, and out of nowhere, while I'm listening to a podcast lead up to the game, bang, into the face. So I only caught the last quarter. I'm all good. I got all the
that's the most important thing.
Yeah, got the concussion tests and everything, and I was told I was clear to go to the game, and I was like, yeah, you beaut. And then the police said, no, you got to come back to the station for the statement. I'm like, God damn it, I could have got 3 quarters instead of 1. So here I am. So I can only give really my opinion on the last quarter, which was the one that I guess you missed most of.
Yeah.
And in my little headache and groggy state. But from what I saw, basically 100% agree with what everybody has been saying on the podcast from the snippets of information. Like the heart that we saw there was fantastic. I didn't see what happened to Brayshaw in terms of, the blood covered shirts, but in terms of the contest work and what we delivered there, it really, whether it was a win or a loss for this game, I felt for me was a real statement to, really emphasizing that we have really we're a different team to where we were last year in those pressure situations and being able to lift. And I felt like you could see that, both sides on paper in terms of the average age and number of games played, I felt we were a lot more mature around the contest than the Hawks were. And it just seemed like, when things got really, really panicky, we were a lot more composed than they were, which was what I think taking out of this game excites me the most, because it makes me think in the back half of the season, yes, it's very, very tight knit, between second and ninth spot. But with that kind of level of maturity, I feel we can take that confidence going into a lot of close games and potentially, be able to scrape one or two of those and still have a chance. Whereas last year it would just be like Barley's, we just fall over every single time. So for me, that's like the biggest thing I take out of this game. And weighing that up, looking at our, the way going into the end of this season, like on paper, as long as we don't do a dockery, as we like to call it, between the Eagles, Carlton and Port Adelaide, yes, we got Collingwood. That's going to be an absolute doozy. Brisbane Lions, I think, is doable if we play the way we did tonight. And the Bulldogs, the final game of the season, because we love to leave everything to the last minute to just to make sure we all have we don't need to have cardio checks on all of us. There's a lot of hope, I still think, in this season. Just when people say, like your David Kings are trying to like question where we are positioned, I look at a game like that and think we are not just in it for a chance. We have proven we are when we're at our best, easily a contender with those top four teams, and that's what excites me coming out of this game.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, we've won 7 and 8 now. And I sort of watched all the footy shows earlier this week with David King. And I didn't think much of his criticism was unwarranted. Like, I thought he was pretty spot on with most of it. And then JL came out in his presser and had a little clip at him, which I also didn't think was out of line. Like, I've got no problem with that little thing that those two blokes had. But I just think the one lazy criticism of our game, I think, is that we move the ball too slowly. And even just like going to the games, you hear so many people just like, why are we going backwards? We've gone back to where we started. I just think people need to understand how we play. It is a slow brand. And I think we're just going to have to get used to that. When we, like, our best transition style is, going straight out of the guts, picking off the corridor, changing the angles. But we're not necessarily the sort of team that's even trained to play like that. And we are now equal on points with the top four, playing a brand that has worked for us for 7 of the last 8 weeks. So
yeah,
I think Justin Longmuir has done a brilliant job over the past 2 or 3 months. Like, ever since that Saints game, I think he's bounced back astronomically. I don't think there'd be many coaches or many squads that would be able to bounce back from a loss as catastrophic as that Saints game, considering where we were in the season. So I think it is such a big credit, not just to the players, but to a coaching staff, which we give a lot of stick to as a fan base. I think JL's got this group primed to the back end of the year. And I agree with what you said. I've got so much hope with what we can now do against some of the better teams. The fact we can claw out a win in a really mature fashion, like we didn't get panicky. And, I sort of thought if the game got chaotic, it would suit Hawthorn, more Ginnivan, Watson. But we shut down their influence pretty well. So, yeah, I've got hope too, mate, and I think that was a really good building block for sort of the foreseeable future.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess again, we like to pick out in individuals, and I know you were you critical of Ryan before, which I think is a fair point. It frustrates me as well watching him sometimes with like his conservative ball movement. But I think again, going back to your point versus the game against the Saints, I feel like that's another part of our game that other players outside of Ryan have really taken a step forward, is like being able to be more measured in terms of the calculated risks. Because you're right, I feel the moment we get like any like short pass or an uncontested mark in straight down the corridor, we're just a completely different team. It's when we go skinny and wide where we always have struggled. And another point they raised, I think you guys are 100% right with too, is it blows me away that, considering how much these coaches are getting paid on, on an annual basis, how they have not, how we're not continually getting exposed by the rest of the competition by, forcing us to go skinny, forcing us to not be reliant on Brayshaw and Sarong. That is, it's very, very evident, as a supporter, that those are our Achilles heels. And I think that's going to kind of be like the next, I guess, chapter in our development as a team, is being able to, like, I guess, curtail those obvious weaknesses in our game and being able to adapt. And that's the next part, I guess, that concerns me the most. Is it used to be, the lack of effort. It used to be the lack of capitalization opportunities, which we're still not 100% there yet. But I think we've seen remarkable improvement in those areas. But I think that's kind of like the next weapon in our arsenal, or not so much weapon, but next tact that we need to be able to address, I think, to be a true premiership contender as a side.
I 100% agree. You put it perfectly. Yeah, there are some, as you said, there are some obvious weaknesses. Like, for example, that Collingwood game we had earlier this year, we were plus 29 inside 50s. We lost by 15 points, and Collingwood scored on the transition really, really easily. And I felt like this game could have been similar, and we owned field position for a lot of it. And Hawthorn did that a couple of times, and I got a bit worried. But the inside 50 count ended up being 51-51. We win by 13 points, and we're the team that takes or makes the most of our chances. So I even just feel like in that 10-week stretch, that is such a big improvement and big growth in our game. And again, there's been more growth today. Like, I reckon some of these players have just tasted blood for the first time and tasted what a win like this means. Like, Murphy Reid will not play on a win like this at AFL level. Like, this is our best win of the season against a top 4 contender. And to do it in a manner in which it was deserving, it was hard fought, and it gives you belief going forward. I think a lot of these players are going to take this in their stride and, have a bit of a pep in their step.
Yeah. And also, I don't know how much, as much as they're meant to, I guess you're meant to be focusing, to use the JL cliches of like reviewing and then the next game at a time, but then to also see other teams in the competition that we've trumped, such as Gold Coast taking down, Collingwood. It just like, it shows you where we're at that level. It's just the 1%ers, again, to use a cliche, that we just need to iron out. And I think we're there.
Yeah, I agree. Now, do we have a chance next week, or am I delusional?
Well, Dockers being a dockery, it's either we're going to get flogged or we're going to beat their asses. It's nothing in between.
No, we won't lose by 20. It'll be either a whooping or we win.
Yeah. But it's hard to pinpoint with this one. It's there's when you're playing Collingwood at the MCG in front of 80,000 Pie supporters, and the love affair that the AFL has for Dacos, you don't know what's going to get you. It's going to be thrown your way. it's if I think they're going to be like bigger factors in deciding the game than the actual contest itself. To be quite frank.
Well, we defeated free kick Hawthorn for 3 quarters, so if we can do that,
Yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what a win! Thanks for joining, mate. That was a real good chat, and have a good night. And I hope you're all good. I hope the pre-game situation has held you in good stead.
Yeah. Well, I'm all good. Thanks for checking in. It's good to talk footy and not have to deal with. Well, I'll just say I don't want to dealing with unprovoked attacks from meth heads on Canning Highway. I'm all good.
Yeah, it's not ideal. Take care, mate. Thanks for joining.
Cheers.
Oh, geez. I'd say the Gold Coast win was our best. Maybe I'm biased, though, from being there. Yeah, no, so it's a conversation, certainly, yeah. Can we get the footage sent to Noah so we can see? Not that I like seeing people get bashed, but in a bit of we're not getting the footage and broadcasting it on Freo Faithful. We just can't be doing that. Is Wags our most improved player from the past couple of years? I thought Wags had a really poor game today. Like if you asked me that last week, I'd say yes, but I did not think it was a game to Corey Wagner. The thing is, my opinion on a lot of players were based off the first 3 quarters, considering how much of the fourth I missed. So I'm not. Maybe Wags had a great fourth quarter, and that just completely changed sort of his game. But yeah, I'm not sure. What else do we have? Freo at 5-2 against top 9 teams with a 71.4 win percent. Have the best winning percentage out of anyone. The best thing is, right, we've won a great game, yet it would get no media coverage on Fox Footy this week. Andrew Giffen kept up to his old tricks. Glad you're okay, mate. Since Collingwood are coming off a loss, Fremantle have momentum off a rebound win tonight. We played it last time, but not full bank to buck in forward 50 entries. Yeah, exactly. We can beat Collingwood if we just take our opportunities. But it's at the MCG. It's a different prospect. All right, Jordan, you're up next. G'day, mate.
Hey, mate, that was a good one, wasn't it?
That was a lot of fun.
So how much did you miss? So did you actually, did you see the final siren, or how much that fourth quarter did you miss?
I saw the first 10 minutes of the fourth quarter. I saw us kick maybe 1, maybe 2 goals. And then I watched the last 3 minutes from an obstructed view. So I missed a fair chunk, yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, the last quarter, as I said, it was exactly what we're after, basically. As I said, everyone said already, the pressure, but you saw anytime the Hawks basically, got the ball, we were able to either shut it down, they'd go forward and we'd have players back there and we'd be able to work that one out. Or we just put so many numbers around the ball that they just have no chance of getting out. We just did not let them get any opportunity to go forward in that last quarter, which is, as people are saying, it's an all-team effort, and it's it's the sort of thing that's going to win you games when they're tight like they are. Because first 3 quarters, probably you'd say first quarter's 50-50, but then I think the next 2 you'd probably say the Hawks are probably more on top. But we stayed in it. We were only 14 or 13 down, and just completely grinded it out. And I don't think they didn't score a goal at all in the fourth, which just goes to show how much of a all-team defensive effort it was. It was incredible.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think we sort of adjusted to the game that was in front of us really, really well, and we played in a fashion which was going to win this game, despite having that deficit at 3/4 time. Does beg the question, though. We're going to play completely differently next week. We cannot play like that against Collingwood. It would suit them. Do we go too far off what we did tonight, and what we've been doing this season, or do we go to a faster sort of game that might be able to catch Collingwood off guard because it's not their forte?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because you think obviously to Friday night, when they played the Suns, and the way that the Suns play, they play a very fast. Their transition game is top notch. Particularly the amount of times that Rowell and Anderson just bursted out of the middle. It's crazy, and we're not really seeing that much from Brayshaw and Sarong at the moment. So it is a different game style, but. we beat Sydney last year, and they were miles ahead of everyone else, or so we thought at the time. Do we go too far off? I feel like you probably would have to, wouldn't you? Because I think we sort of made that mistake in the Sydney game when basically we went into that Saints game. We went into that Swans game very similar to the way we went into the Saints game, and it's just better opponent. It didn't work. So as JL says, horses for courses. So I'm sure they'll look for it throughout the week. And I guess that goes into where people are saying either we we win in a close one, or we get pumped because it didn't work. But rather we have a go than just accept that play like we have most weeks, which is probably not going to quite get us there. I don't know. I see someone says how to make it a shootout. I feel like we could bring them. I feel like we could bring it on our terms still. I do think we could. We could play a conservative game, and bring the, because I feel like if we were to play a shootout, we'd probably end up being 20 down at 3/4 time and not have a way into it. If we play a conservative style, then we might be able to bring that margin a little bit closer when it comes to to the final quarter. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting one next week. But as I said, I don't think you can go into the same game plan. Obviously, we're at the MCG as well, and that's with our one game at the G earlier this year. We didn't get the ground dimensions right, as I said last week. So plenty to think about.
Yeah, exactly right. We also haven't won in Victoria this year, so that's sort of a hoodoo. We've got to get over it. We haven't, have we? Lost to the Saints. Lost to
Melbourne and Saints was the only two.
Yeah. I'm sort of comparing this run a little bit to the 3-game stretch earlier in the year. So the Melbourne game last week was very similar to the Swans game in terms of we just couldn't get momentum. We were always sort of just playing catch up, and we lost by about 10 points. This week, we were called softs throughout the week, and we responded against a really good team at home in sort of a fearless sort of nature. Now, the game after that was the St Kilda game where we lost by 12 goals or whatnot. I'm not saying that's going to happen next week, but it's sort of a pattern we saw earlier this year. And I think the players and the coaches have to be wary of it. We haven't won in Melbourne this year. It's sort of a similar thing that's happened this year already. In terms of just getting into our heads, or getting into our own heads about playing in Melbourne and how it's too hard. Like, I think this week and preparation in particular, and just knowing how to play the best team in the competition on their home deck, is going to be so important. I think this week's all about preparation.
Yeah, I think you're right, and it's also a unique one when you consider, like, most games we played away this year. How many times we play in front of a hostile crowd? We played the Giants and the Suns, not huge crowds there. Melbourne, not a big crowd. Saints, not a big crowd. You could argue the Derby is a hostile crowd, but it's West Coast, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But this week, as I said, like, the Pies fans, they show up. There'll be 60K there, and there'll be more than Optus can fit. So and 20, like, we're going back 3 years here, but that was a big factor, in my opinion, why we lost in the 2022 semi-final. We just weren't used to those sort of playing conditions, so to those sort of crowd conditions. So that's one thing that I'd be wary of this week. But it's a challenge because we get to finals, we have to play those sort of games. So it's good that we get something like that this week.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to finish the season off with a soft draw. You want these games leading into the pointy end of the year. Back to the Hawks game. Who impressed you today? Because 3 quarters, it was a bit ropey, but that last quarter, I think, put everyone in the good books.
Yeah, obviously everyone said it. Switter was awesome today. I think we all know that. Not just the goals, but as I said, the amount of pressure. He was one of the main main catalysts in that final quarter. The one player that, look, I don't like. He's a lot of it's still potential, but I think Johnson does have something there. I think, particularly in the last quarter, he covered a lot. I think he only spent like 75% of time on ground or something, but he covers a lot of ground. He's applied a lot of pressure as well. He was another one of the main ones in that last quarter. I think he got like 9 tackles or something. Won a lot of contested ball as well. Only issue is his kicking and decision making does let him down a fair bit. But I think there is something there. I think he, a bit more experience, few more games under the belt, and he'll patch up a few of those things. I'm trying to think, looks at back on. Clark was obviously immense as usual. Clark covering, he would have covered probably a kilometre. Or that's a bit
Surely when you play
exaggeration, but yeah.
Freo, like the first two names you circle at the start of the week is Jordan Clark and Caleb Sarong, and you shut them down. Now, I don't know why Hawthorn didn't do anything to them today.
Well, I saw I looked at the Hawthorn subreddit, and someone said we've got Sarong out there running right, and we're currently double teaming Jagger O'Meara, because Jagger was actually quite quiet today. But I did notice that. I feel like there was a fair bit of attention. I don't know if that's maybe because he was a former player of theirs, but there seemed to be a fair bit of attention from the Hawks mids onto Jagger, which maybe was the fact that I think first quarter, I think he started to have a bit of an impact, and obviously last quarter of the Swans game he did as well. But that seemed to be their main priority very early on, was to try and shut down Jagger, and they did. But then it just let Sarong run right. Yes, there was some strange calls from Sam Mitchell today, wasn't that? Well, it's just over midnight, so there was some strange calls from Sam Mitchell yesterday, and one of them was leaving Finn McGuinness, making Finn McGuinness as the sub as well, because I think he's one of their best taggers.
He is,
Was it
yeah.
Finn McGuinness?
He was, yeah. So Nash or McGuinness both didn't go. Nash going to Sarong would have been hard because of the height difference and the mobility and whatnot. But I thought McGuinness was the obvious one. I was surprised.
Yeah, it's and I looked at 3/4 time that Sam Mitchell was going to outcoach us again, but you look back at it now, and it was a strange call to do that sort of stuff. But I don't know. I mean, it's an all those games, as I said. Like, I feel like it was very similar to the Saints game, except for the fact that we played a much better opponent. So we know the sort of thing the sort of footy we play. We know it now. We've beaten the Hawks, we've beaten the Crows, we've beaten the Suns, we've beaten the Giants, we've beaten the Dogs. We know we can beat the best teams now. So it's just looking forward. It's just a matter of consistency, isn't it? We've got some danger games. Port away we've never beaten them at the Adelaide Oval, so that's the sort of game that you just can't drop. Carlton West Coast at home. I mean, you'd expect us to beat those, but you can never be sure. It's really just a matter of keeping it together at this stage, and that's the problem with an inexperienced team. Occasionally we're probably more vulnerable to drop out of form, but today was another more proof that we know we can beat the best teams, and not just beat them. The first 3 quarters, but last quarter just completely shut them out, because they didn't have a say in how that game was run at all in the fourth, which is awesome.
Yeah, I reckon you've summed it up pretty well. You have anything else before I let you go? Yeah,
I saw James there talk about Jimis. I think he kicked his 100th today, which is nice. I think. I got a massive spreadsheet, a bit of a stats nerd, as you probably know, but I think he's 22nd player, only 22nd player to score 100 goals for the club. So we've had Freddie, we've had Tracy, and now Amos joined the 100 club this year, which is quite nice. But he was good today as well, Amos. As I said, he's found more ways to contribute. He's not trying to become a Tracy clone. He's trying to become his own player, and I love that.
Yeah, having a different dynamic in the forward line, I think, will hold us in good stead going forward. Just hope he can end the year as he played today. Thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate your input as always, and up the Dockers.
Up the Dockers. Nice.
Already rewatched last quarter. I will be doing that after this. Pies 50-50. Pies 50-50. We've upped the odds, haven't we? West Blues Port should be a win. Lions 50-50 and Dogs at Marvel, not sure. The Dogs can't beat a good team. So, realistic, if we're being realistic and not biased, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. Okay, bias aside, 6-0. Wagner will 1000% go to Dacos. He will. Yeah, we'll shut him out. All right, Eye Glaze, you ready? He's ready. G'day, mate.
You cat, how's it going, man?
I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, sweet, bro. What a great win, great night, huge crowd, 49,000. Pretty good after the last sort of couple of wet ones we've had. How'd you enjoy your night, mate?
Oh, it was brilliant, mate. It was a bit shaky, bit flat at 3/4 time. I didn't know whether we had it in us to sort of dig deep against a good Hawks outfit, but very, very proud of the maturity shown by the boys.
It's rough going, dude. It is rough going. I'm a plus 30-year club member. I know you're a young fella. I mean, you've seen what we've been through in your time, but oh my God, it is just eternally rough going. But just the joy after wins like that is it's worth every little bit of it. Great to get the win for Sonny as well. Big out there. But was going to ask you, how are you feeling about Darcy's game?
Sean Darcy.
Thought yeah,
I'm not sure.
he seems to be coming into some semblance of form, and I think he's thrown up a couple of goals in the last couple of games or 3 games, I should say.
Yeah, he has.
So it's sort of interesting to see how he's progressing each week, along with obviously the duo of him and Jackson and how that's working. And are we going to play him as a ruck duo, whatever? But he seems to be coming along pretty well, and it's it's just good to see. And I think he's going to actually be a critical part of the piece of the puzzle. Moving into September, hopefully.
I agree with you. To be honest, I think tonight was just more living proof that double ruck combo will work, and that JL sticking fat with it is going to be the best thing for this club going forward. I think. I remember the Hawks game last year in Tassie. The main reason we lost that was Lloyd Meek towed up a solo Luke Jackson. It was
absolutely
a very,
smashed him.
very hard watch. So Sean Darcy coming in today, it was first time Sean started at the centre bounce in ages. Doggers started as a rover. I thought straight from the get-go, I thought Darcy had a strong game, and I don't think his hit-out count was as dominant this week as it was last week, but I think the first usage he gave our midfielders was so much better. I don't think we won the midfield all day. I think Hawthorn had some pretty good stints of getting some ascendancy in the middle, but yeah, I agree. I think Darcy was really strong today, and it allowed Jackson to flourish as well.
Yeah, it was nice, some of those sort of secondary touches off the taps that Jackson was getting out back. Also, Switter. Mate.
Yeah.
Switter might be back.
He is. I'm not sure.
I'd like to see more follow-ups of like those sort of 3-goal games from him, kind of thing. I think he just a little bit more consistent, and he's up there with some of the very best small forwards in the game. I would think.
I'd agree. It's interesting because we needed him to kick those 3 today. Like we only got one from Tracy, we only got 1 from Voss. We got 2 from Bolton. But like some of our forwards did not. Like Murphy Reid didn't kick one. A few of like our usual scoreboard hitters, Dudley didn't kick one when he came on. A few of our usual scoreboard like impactors didn't necessarily have the games they would have wanted. They impacted it in other ways, but I think Switter hitting the scoreboard, it's a weakness he's had for a while in this game. If he can build off that, then we've got a dangerous small forward on our hands to end this season.
Straight up, and I guess like getting that win tonight just lets us go into the G next week. Free swing at Hawthorn, mate. Let's just go. Let's go do these bastards.
Imagine we do it. It would just be the most ridiculous Fremantle. Like I can't even imagine.
I mean, it's like what was it? 2-3 seasons ago, we went over there and we beat Melbourne when they were on their undefeated streak. It's just the gap between the best and just slightly off is enough to bring any team down in the AFL this year. It's insane, the parity in the league, at least between, let's say, positions 1 to 9. It's insane. If you're off even just the slightest percent, you could be gone. And like I said, free swing at the Pies next week. Good test for finals.
Very good test. You don't want the soft fixtures to end the year, mate. You want the Collingwoods, you want the Brisbanes, you want the Bulldogs. So, yeah, I'm very good. And if we get past the Pies, like win, lose, or draw, whatever, we've got Carlton and West Coast coming up after that, which we absolutely have to bank 8 points from. And this Collingwood game next week would just be a bonus. So, yeah, I'm happy to see for a while. But, yeah, I agree. It's a free hit. I mean, there'll be pressure on us, at least putting in a good performance. We don't want to get smashed by 10 goals. But we really should just go out there and express ourselves and not play safe, because you may as well go in rather than playing for a small loss. So yeah, I agree. Free hit next week, mate.
Straight up. Well,
Yeah.
look, hey, don't let me keep you, man. There's plenty of other people, I'm sure, in the waiting room. I just want to say I've been following you on YouTube for, I don't know, maybe since you were a young fella, and you're
Yeah,
doing
long
great,
time
man.
ago. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Appreciate you joining.
All right, peace. Have a good one. Let's go, Freo.
Up the Dockers. Cheers. It's a nice bloke. First time caller. Dad's in chat. That's good to see. First time Sam Switkowski's ever kicked 3+ goals in a game, apparently. There you go. I'm actually not that surprised. No, actually I am. Surely Switters kicked 3 once. Or is he just he's a 2-goal man? Blake Haker's goal of the year, Mark Murphy goal, Jack New. What are we doing? Where's this come from? None of that. We need 2022 semi-final revenge. Well, we had the opportunity to do that the year after, and we lost by about 70 to Collingwood. So this is a new era. We've got some new blokes in there, new JL. You know, when's the last time we beat Carlton? Yeah, gather around last year we lost. It would have been 2022 Lane Hall. Far out. It's not a gimme, is it? Because 2023 we lost by about 15 goals. It was a hard watch. Righto. The chat's favorite fan cam caller is coming up.
Surely. Yeah.
Hello, mate.
It's Sunday. Yeah.
It is
Hey
Sunday.
guys. Hello. Wow. I must say that you're saving the best for last at this point.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if you are last, but you're towards it.
Yeah, well, towards it. I'm the pace. What a game. What a game that was. Do you agree?
It was a really good game, yeah. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah. I must say, I think I kind of regret making a song about Sarong where all we love is Andrew Brayshaw because he bleed purple. He bleeded out there in the last few seconds. He bleeded purple like a man. Do you agree there? Do you agree?
I do. He was bleeding purple. I mean, from what I saw, most of the blood I saw was red. If it was purple, I'd be going to a doctor. But I think it's a nice thought, yeah.
I probably need to Photoshop that, to be honest.
Yeah, do that.
But yeah, what a game that was. I mean, the first half and the third quarter, I don't care about that. Okay, I just like, the umpires were screwing with us for a bit, and then we got there in the last quarter. That's what I like. Let's get to the What do you want? The positives or the negatives? What I think.
Oh, mate,
First.
you run the show. Give me whatever you want.
I run the show. Negatives. Let me talk about the. It's just like the negatives. Obviously, the umpires. Obviously, with players. Yeah, it was a good idea. Good idea from, JL to sub off Bailey Banfield because I didn't think he did do that much. Like I know he did some tackles, but all we need is just the ball into the inside 50. And that's not his style at the moment. Carl Warner, I must say that was just terrible from him. That was like not the best, but it was meh at the moment. Kicking like, what was it 2 out of 3 out of the ball? What is that? What is that, Warner? You suffer, and plus there was an opportunity that he could have like kicked a goal. No, I want this guy. I want this guy. As it's a free kick against. Just kick the damn thing. I don't give a damn. If you just kick it. Make a shot. Okay. If you get behind, that's okay. We do it again until we get a goal. Okay. And
I don't agree with that. I'd rather not make a shot and keep kicking behinds till we kick a goal. I don't feel like that's a good idea. I feel like we work it around, and that's exactly what we did, and we won the game.
I mean, we kick a lot of goals. That's what I like. Okay, the positive goal kicking accuracy. That's what I like. That's what I like. What else? Murphy Reed. I don't know what happened to them. I think get used to the bowl that much because obviously he has been slipping the ball like so much. He did all right, but not the best. I mean, everyone played out well, so well. One thing that two people, it just I'm not getting them. Luke Ryan, with his kick-ins, I don't like them. I don't like him. Okay, because one time he kicked outside the 50. Oh, it's Matthew Cho outside the 50. It's like, bruh, just kick it when you see a Dockers player. Okay, if you see a Hawthorn player, don't kick it to them. It's that simple. It's that
Yeah.
simple.
You should coach.
One,
If I was giving my pre-match address, I would certainly say when you see the blokes in the yellow jumpers, do not kick it to them. It's not a good idea.
Exactly. Another thing, the last thing, I'm not really a fan of Matthew Johnson, to be honest, because when I think of Matthew Johnson, I think the only other Matthew or Matt in Freo Dockers, and you probably know who that person is, Taverner. But yeah, I know he got the disposals, but I want him to impact the game a little more. All right. Yes, he got the clearance. Yes, he got those free kicks against. I think he got 3 of them. I'm not too sure, but I want him to just keep going. Okay, just be man up. Be like Andrew Brayshaw. Okay, because he manned the fucked up. He manned the fucked up in Gold Coast Suns. Okay, if you remember that. All right. If you don't man up, you're not winning the premiership, Matthew. Okay, so you better win yourself a premiership, or else I'm done. Okay,
I reckon this premiership will be decided if Matt Johnson mans up or not. That absolutely is the deciding factor.
Exactly.
I do agree with a few points. I do agree with Luke Ryan's kick outs. I thought they were pretty subpar. Murphy Reed, like, he didn't have a great game. He fumbled a few times, but it's a first-year player. Like, I'm not bothered to go in on first-year players. Like, they all have games like that. Shea Bolton had one of those games a few weeks ago, and he's in his 8th season, won 2 flags, like, or whatnot. So, yeah, sometimes just have one of those days. Murph's basically been kicking a goal a game for a while now, so a pretty consistent contributor that had a bit of an off night tonight, but yeah, that's all right. What other points did you make? Don't kick it to the yellow blokes. Yeah, don't do that. No, you should be coach, mate. You should be coach. And love.
Yeah, I'll try to see if there's like any opportunities, like
go on
something
and seek
like
or
that.
something. Yeah.
Or I could just coach the Carlton Football Club. How about that, guys?
Could do that. Yeah, you would be better than Bossy.
Yeah.
Without.
But the only time I would do that is losing against Freo. Yay!
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, wear your Freo shirt in the Carlton coach's box. It's a good idea.
I don't think the member of the board would allow me to do that.
James is thanking you for getting a photo with him before the game.
No worries.
Big fan of Average here in the chat. Never heard him swear. Yeah, it was a unexpected the double F bomb.
Yeah.
Didn't know it was in the repertoire. That's all right. All right. I might have to get you off. It's going a bit far.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
No, you're right. I will let you go though. Do you have anything else to say?
Oh yeah. Brayshaw is a goat. Okay. I mean Brayshaw, we all love him. Okay, and I love him. Okay, let's get him a premiership. Okay, because all he needs is a premiership. Just did his brother has one?
Angus, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Andrew gets one. Okay, so the brothers can share one.
And his other brother has a Sandover medal, Hamish. So Andy needs a flag.
Yeah, Andy just. I mean, yeah, I know. Wait, did he ever get a Wask Glendinning medal?
No, he hasn't. No, it's been Sarong who mops him up. Sarong and Darcy.
God damn it, Caleb Sarong. Awesome. Well, I hope Collingwood's gonna be good. If not, then I will cry myself to sleep. Okay. You have a good day, man. Okay.
Thanks, mate. You too. Thanks for staying up.
Bye.
Up the Dockers. Oh, geez, always a character. Freo social media team in here lurking, noting down these tips to jail. Yeah, the whole Freo social media team are watching these fan cams right now. Epic game, great atmosphere at Optus. Meek had a big game. What do we attribute that to? Darcy or Jackson or something else? I think Lloyd Meek just played really well, to be honest. Like, I think you can just give credit to him. Like, he had a monstrous game, 48 hit-outs. But when you look at him as a team, 56 hit-outs to 51 in favour of Fremantle. I think, you know, Connor Nash and Mabior Chol and whoever else went up in there got smashed. So I think that's where we got our ascendancy. Lloyd Meek didn't necessarily give the best first usage to his midfielders. I thought that was where Darcy and Jackson excelled. But, I mean, Jackson had more hit-outs than Darcy. That really surprises me. Yeah, Sean pushed forward and kicked a goal and Luke didn't. So they had different games, at our Ruck Dogs. Walker in for Banfield. Yeah, potentially. I think that's probably a likely thing. If Banner's getting subbed out, I think Walker probably will come back in, yeah. I think Dardley might stay a sub. I'm not sure how good his impact was, but, you know. How's the Sunny thing at halftime and how's the rooms after the game? Sunny thing was very, very emotional. The rooms after the game was very fun. What else do we have? Most definitely, but he's shown so much. We're so used to him being perfect with footy in hand tonight. This would be Murphy. Yeah, exactly. Give the captaincy to Bruce. I think Pierce should hand the captaincy over. Nah, Moose is our captain. I love Moose as our skip. And if the players want him, then that's all that matters, really. The fans don't really get a say, which I think is perfect. Charlie Nichols to debut in the near future. Well, our forward line clicked pretty well tonight, so if injuries come up, then maybe. But yeah, I think he's one of our blokes that's closest to a debut. I'm loving watching Charlie. Peel of a bye this week, so I'm not sure he didn't play, obviously. But yeah, would be a next year thing. I'd say a bit late to be giving debuts. Yeah, unless we do a little Marlon Pickett in the grand final. Charlie Nichols debut flag. All right. That's enough. Bobby Hill won't be playing. Yeah, the thing, I don't really want to say fingers crossed Bobby isn't playing because, like, I'm saying that from the point of view of he's a really good footballer. I don't want him to play against Fremantle, but he's out for personal reasons at the moment. So I hope Bobby is all good. But for pure footballing reasons, if he does miss, then obviously that would give us a fair advantage. And Collingwood certainly missed him on Friday night. You feel like Jaron Carr's next one to debut sometime next year? I don't really see it. Like, he's had a few good games at Peel, but he's not necessarily banging the door down. Maybe because our wing spots are so vulnerable, but yeah, apart from that. That was elite, Ben. That was unreal. Is Young ready for Pies? He will be ready to play football. Sorry. He'll be ready to play football next week, whether that's through Waffle, whether that's through the sub against Collingwood, or whether that's a full game or limited minutes. I'm not sure. I think he'll play Waffle. But there's a chance. I was watching Youngie at main training. I'll probably go to main training again this week. I was watching him. He was playing the match sim full intensity. He was killing it. So, yeah, he looked pretty keen to get back out there. Do we have anything else? You can join the fan camp still. The link is in the description. If you join, you'll probably be straight in. If not, I'll read the end of chat and I might wrap it up now. We've been on for about an hour and 10. I'm sure there are a few Eastern States viewers still in. We got 61 in chat. So to the Eastern States viewers who are up at close to 3 a.m. watching the fan cams, thank you. Also to the WA viewers. It's a bit of a late one over here as well. It'll be an earlier one next Sunday, Arvo, against the Pies. We'll be doing another watch party. If you watched the Sydney one and you enjoyed that, you can link up the stream and the TV, so you can watch the stream and the game at the same time. Youngie for Jono, or maybe Warner to play halfback. Yeah, could do. I just don't know if Jono's going to get dropped, to be honest. But I'm not sure who else does. The team's pretty, yeah. Like Wags can't. I'm not sure. It's a very interesting one. What are some other notable things from training during the week? Do I still have my preview notes here? I do. Well, Alex Pearce, I noticed he didn't train really. He was just doing some light kicking. But he doesn't usually tend to train. So I don't really think much of it. But I was actually talking to Alex Pearce after the game, and he said he should be back next week. He's pretty confident. It was just a bit of a hot spot, a bit of a flare up. So yeah, he'll should be all good. But that being said, you never really know with Moose. Like that Gold Coast game he missed was so innocuous, and then he missed 5 or so weeks. So yeah, it's a hard one. Whenever it's a hot spot and it's a recurring thing, but yeah, we really need him back next week. Collingwood will have Lipinski and Myercheck back in, and yeah, especially Myercheck. We'll need Moose to partner up with Coxie for whatever task they go for. I'm expecting that they'll play both Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox for Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson. That would make the most sense. But yeah, all seriousness, I do think the next person debut next year will be Aiden Riddle. Just can't be serious. See ya, Diggy. Great win. What's this? So many players were huge in that last quarter. Great effort all round. Brayshaw, Switter, Dreers, Voss, to name a few. Yeah, Paddy Voss with a few barometer goals in the second half. What we needed. Blasphemous up the Dockers. Yeah, we'll probably wrap it up there. I've been on for an hour 10. Thank you everyone who stayed on the fan cams all night. Great dub. Yeah, unbelievable. Stay across all the content throughout the week, recapping the Hawthorn game and previewing the Pies game. Go check us out on Instagram at Freo.Faithful. There'll be some content over there as well. What else? I'm not sure. Thank you all for watching. The podcast should be out Monday or Tuesday. I'll try to get it out Monday. Might be out Tuesday. We'll probably have Zach back on. Seems like he had a pretty good reception on the last episode. So thank you all for watching. Up the Dockers. And book the bus. Flag Mandel confirmed. Cheers.